Welcome back everybody, Matt the Man here, hope you're doing well. So we have a new David Fincher movie coming out this Friday called The Killer on Netflix. So we don't really get that many David Fincher movies. The last one came out, 2020, 2021? And then before that was 2014. So I figured this was a perfect opportunity. Me being a David Fincher fan, a lot of people don't know David Fincher is actually my third favorite director in Hollywood, just right outside of Spielberg and Scorsese. It's David Fincher, and then my boy Christopher Nolan. Number 5 is always a toss-up. Some days they'll say Darren Aronofsky, some days they'll say Ridley Scott, some days they'll say Denis Villeneuve. But when it comes to the top 4, Spielberg, Scorsese, Fincher, and Nolan, those are a lot. Mount Rushmore, if you will. But today we are going to talk about one of my favorite directors, David Fincher, his filmography. I love a lot of his movies. A lot of his movies actually, play a significant part. Those I think are still some of the best of the 21st century. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with my least favorite, the favorite 11, The Game. This came out in 97, I think, 97. It stars Michael Douglas, Sean Penn. I've only seen this movie twice, and each time I've never been that into it. I mean, it's well shot, but I've just never been into this film. I don't know what it is. It just never hit me, like a lot of his other movies. Now, number 11 is The Game. Number 10, Mank. This came out right there. I think this was in 2020 or 2021. This is starring Gary Oldman. This is about the writer who wrote Citizen Kane. It also had Lily Collins and Amanda Seyfried in the movie. Black and White on Netflix. This was Fincher's first movie working with Netflix. It is another one. It's a very well made movie. Gary Oldman gives a great performance. But it just never interests me. I've never gone back and watched it. Even though it's on Netflix and I can watch it at any time. I've never had the reason to go back and watch it. Like, okay, it was a good movie. Alright. I think it's an interesting movie, going into the writer of Citizen Kane and how he came up with that idea and everything. But like I said, it just never been one of my favorites. Number 9, Alien 3. This was Fincher's first really major film in Hollywood, coming off of Alien 1, directed by Ridley Scott, then Alien 2, directed by James Cameron. Alien 3 had a lot of production issues, a lot of problems with the studio, very notorious that Fincher and 20th Century did not get along. They wanted the movie one way, he wanted the movie another way. And since then he's decided to never make another blockbuster again. I actually don't mind this movie. I think it's actually pretty good. Sigourney Weaver came back. I like the cinematography. It's very different from the other Alien movies. I like the idea that Ripley actually has an alien inside her. The one thing she never wanted was an alien, and now she has one inside her. And you're like more, death, kind of like a ticking time bomb. And, even the way it ended with the alien coming out, where she, throws herself in the fire lava pit. I didn't mind the movie. I had a lot of philosophical ideas and everything like that. I think Charles Dutton is in the movie. And like I said, I actually didn't think this was a bad film. Number 8 is Panic Room. Came out in 2002, starring Jodie Foster, Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, and a very young Kristen Stewart. Is it Kristen or Kirsten? I always get confused. Who then went on 5 years later, or 6 years later, and played Bella in Twilight. I went back and watched this the other day. I actually saw this back in 2002 when my family was on vacation in Seattle. We watched it one night in the hotel room. I think it's actually a pretty good movie. One location in this house. I think Forrest Whitaker does a good job. Jared Leto. And the second time working with David Fincher. Jodie Foster, I thought did a good job. I thought Kristen Stewart, or Kirsten, actually did really good in the movie. Like that, I got you think, oh man, this actress is going to be a major star. She's going to be a huge actress in Hollywood. Technically she did because of Twilight, but in terms of her acting, I was actually really impressed with her. Number 7. Zodiac. Zodiac deals with the Zodiac killer. I think it was back in the, I want to say 70s. It's spanned in many decades. It deals with a cartoon artist played by Jake Gyllenhaal, trying to investigate and find out who the Zodiac killer is. Robert Downey Jr. plays a news reporter, and Mark Ruffalo plays a cop. Finally, we got Iron Man and Hulk in a movie together. I mean, it's a very good movie. I think we start getting into the serial killer movies of Fincher's career. I think this was well shot, very. Like when we get the Panic Room and then Zodiac, you start to see the same cinematography, the same color palette, the same lighting throughout a lot of his movies moving forward now. I think Jake Gyllenhaal played a really good role in the movie. He was really good. Robert Downey Jr., people don't talk about Robert Downey Jr. in this movie. He was excellent. This was a year before Iron Man. And this is when Robert Downey Jr.'s career was on a low, very low. And I don't think people give Robert Downey Jr. the credit he deserves for Zodiac. Still, even by the end of the movie, we don't officially know who the Zodiac killer is. Even in real life, they have an idea, but they have never been able to truly say that man is the Zodiac killer. And I think this movie, it's interesting how this movie shows 3 different people and how this one thing completely, changes their lives and rips apart their family life and all of this and their career. It's almost very similar, almost like what we see later in The Dark Knight, how this one person, the Joker, has changed all 3 people, Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent, just by this one serial killer. Makes you wonder if Nolan was thinking about Zodiac when he was writing The Dark Knight. Number 5, Gone Girl. This was 2014, starring Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, Neil Patrick Harris, Carrie Coon, and Tyler Perry. Another film that was excellent. Ben Affleck, I think this is one of Ben Affleck's best performances throughout the 21st century. How his character starts out as this strong, confident, strong man, and then as the movie goes on, you see how this one woman kind of tears him down, little by little, and it's just amazing. Rosamund Pike gives the performance of her career. Then when we get into the second and third act of that movie, it just goes, whoa, mind-blowing. It's an excellent shot film. Once again, looking like the same cinematography and lighting we've seen in a lot of David Fincher movies. Even by the end of that movie, I remember seeing it in theaters and just feeling itchy. Feeling like I need to take a shower. I just feel, awful, dirty. Number 4, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This is a remake of one of the foreign, uh, I want to say Norway. I might be completely off on that. But it is a remake. Daniel Craig plays the investigator investigating the murder or kidnapping of Christopher Plummer's granddaughter. Rooney Mara was just coming off of the Social Network when she got this role. This is an excellent movie. I also really love this movie. I love how I thought Daniel Craig did a great job in the role, even still in the middle of playing James Bond. Rooney Mara gives the performance of her career in this movie. The way she completely transformed into Elizabeth Salinger is amazing. I mean, she gives it her all in this movie. And she was actually up for an Academy Award for it. Once again, the cinematography, same. I love the music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross in this movie. Even the immigrant song at the beginning during the opening credits, amazing, especially with the graphics. Always reminded me of an intro to like a James Bond movie. I always said when I saw this movie the first time, I knew right away who the killer was. I was sitting with my cousin and we went and saw it, and I said to him, right when the moment happened, like right when I knew a character was introduced, I remember I whispered to him and said, he's going to be the killer. And then by the time it was revealed, my cousin looked at me and was like, how did you know? I go, just look at the lighting. Just look at the lighting in the scene. It's different from everyone else, from all the other lighting in the movie. Come on. That's why I'm a genius. And I never read the book or anything. So it wasn't like, oh, he read the book, he knew. No, he never read the book, never read nothing. Never saw the original. So, but yeah, I wish they made a sequel to this. I think there's a series, a trilogy of books, but because the movie didn't make that much money, it was over 2.5 hours long. It's a very, very, very R-rated film. There's an entire graphic rape scene that is very intense. There's a lot of murder, there's a lot of nudity, a lot of violence. But it is an excellent movie, great cinematography, great acting, great music. I just wish they made a sequel. Number 3 for me is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I saw this movie in December of 2008. It is actually the first David Fincher movie I saw in the theater. I saw it with my friend Foster. And this is the movie that turned me into a David Fincher fan. I saw Panic Room, I saw Alien 3, I saw Zodiac before, but I never registered the director until I saw Benjamin Button. It also made me a huge fan of Brad Pitt. I always thought of Brad Pitt as the pretty boy, you know, basically the model of Hollywood, A-list. Blonde, pretty boy, playboy, Brad Pitt. Gets the girls, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie. I mean, come on. And then I saw this movie, and oh boy, my mind of Brad Pitt completely changed. I love this movie. It deals with the cinematography alone is breathtaking to look at. The music throughout this movie, I love it. The performance by Brad Pitt, Kate Blanchett, are great. You also got actors in here at the time that were nobodies, like Mahershala Ali. It shows up in the first act in this movie. This was like his first major role. Taraji P. Henson, nobody knew her until this movie. She played Benjamin Button's adoptive mother. Elle Fanning plays the young Daisy in the first act of the movie. One of her first roles. You got Jared Harris in here. I think even before Mad Men. Tilda Swinton is in here. I mean, you have a lot of actors in this film. And like I said, a lot of them weren't huge names when this movie came out. I love how this movie deals with life and death, especially with death and life. The people you also it deals with the people you come across with in life, how they make an impact, even if it's just for a brief moment. I love how also David Fincher was able to, even with some of these smaller characters, like Jared Harris's Captain Mike, or Tilda Swinton, who always wanted to swim across the ocean from one end to the other, but everyone kept saying she was too old, and then she finally did it. And I like how even in these individual characters, Fincher was able to tell a complete story within. And then you got the romance between Benjamin Button and Daisy, played by Kate Blanchett, over decades and decades and decades. I love how it has to do with life and death, being born. Like I said, when Benjamin Button's born, he's born old. But as time he grows up and he starts to look younger and younger and younger. As Daisy grows up normal, being born fresh, new. But she gets older, she gets getting older as you get older. So you see the reverse. And it just, how death in life and people, and there's so many different themes in this movie. And it all revolves around Daisy's daughter. Daisy's in the hospital dying, and the hospital is in New Orleans, and it's set around Hurricane Katrina coming. And I was just like, wow. By the end of this movie, I was blown away. Also, the reason why this movie is so high for me is this was one of the last movies I saw with my friend Foster. He passed away in 2013. So this was the third to last movie that we saw together. And the whole time riding home, taking him back to Crooked Creek, he kept repeating the line from the man in the retirement home. I got struck by lightning 7 times. Once I was just walking to the mailbox. Once I was just mowing the lawn. And he kept repeating and repeating everything the guy said, everything, all the 7 times or whatever times he got struck by lightning. My friend Foster was saying that in the car on the ride home. So when I think of this movie, I do think of my friend Foster. And like I said, it was one of the last movies we saw. Me, like I said, it deals with life and death. That also has a major impact. So that's why it's my number 3. Number 2 is a special one. My number 2 is the movie 7. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. To me, this is one of the best serial killer movies ever made. Brad Pitt is a young detective, rookie. Morgan Freeman is about to retire in this final week. And they get this case. The serial killer is murdering people based on the 7 deadly sins. And it is I love the cinematography, the music, the performances by both Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, top notch. Gwyneth Paltrow is in here. I love how you see the difference between the two detectives. You have one scene where Brad Pitt is getting cliff notes, you know, on certain books, you know, instead of doing his own research. While Morgan Freeman goes to the library, sits down, finds the books, goes through them one by one, makes copies on the copy machine, still goes through and looks through. Then you have another scene where they're chasing the possibly the killer, and Morgan Freeman's taking his time going down the stairs, taking his time. Brad Pitt's running down the hallway, jumping out windows, shooting things randomly, and you just see the difference between the two detectives in that. And each of the killings is gruesome and gnarly. That one with the guy in the bed, he looks like he's been dead for a while, and the cop goes up to him and he starts moving and it freaks everybody out. And then, of course, the most famous line in the movie, "What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?" That's still one of the most memorable quotes in a movie. I only wish they didn't say what was in the box. I took a souvenir. Her pretty little head. I wish he didn't say that. I wish we still had that mystery of what was actually in the box. But it's still, we never see it in the box. But him just saying, I took a souvenir. Her pretty little head. Ooh. And yeah, that whole ending is just perfectly paced. The whole car ride, everything. It's amazing. The granddaddy of them all. To me, this is still the best movie of the 21st century. It really is the Citizen Kane of our time. And that is the Social Network. Starring Jesse Eisenberg, Justin Timberlake, Andrew Garfield, and Armie Hammer. This movie is brilliant. Cinematography, the music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, the performances. This is my favorite Jesse Eisenberg performance. Andrew Garfield made his breakout debut, MVP of the movie. Even Justin Timberlake is excellent in this movie. Armie Hammer, I know we don't talk about Armie Hammer anymore. Armie Hammer playing the Winklevoss twins, excellent. You also have like Dakota Johnson having a small role in one scene. Caleb Landry Jones has a cameo in this movie. Brenda Song from the Disney Channel original movie, she's in the movie. I love this movie. The themes, you have this guy who's, the opening of this movie, that 7-minute, 8-minute opening is brilliant. Brilliant. It gives you everything you need to know that you're going to be seeing in this movie. The look, the tone, the lighting, the dialogue, the rapid dialogue, the editing. You get to know Mark Zuckerberg's character, how he works, how he operates, how he thinks. The whole catalyst for creating Facebook in the first place is from this opening scene. It's a brilliant opening. Then you get to the ending of the movie, and you see him just sitting alone, Mark Zuckerberg sitting alone in a room, keeps hitting the refresh button, add friend, add friend, add friend. And you're sitting there realizing, this is a guy who's so lonely, sitting in a room by himself, with no friends, nobody, and this is the guy who found a way to start Facebook where people can connect with everyone they want on, no matter where they live, on a completely new type of social level. And this guy can't connect with anybody. He has no friends. he has nothing. He's a millionaire, now a billionaire, but that's all he has is money. Now, of course, that's the framework of the movie. In real life, Mark Zuckerberg does have a wife and probably has friends and all that. But the framework of the movie is just a brilliant ending to it. You got a lot of great quotes in this movie. I'm 6'5" and there's two of me. The movie is well paced. I mean, in 2 hours when it flies by, before you know it, it's over. Like I do with so many great themes. And like I said, Facebook is still relevant. People are still on Facebook. So it has really changed the way we socialize with people. I mean, I remember even being in college, even before this movie came out. But even when the movie something started in 2007, went to college in 2008. That's when I actually I didn't even get on Facebook till I think my second semester of senior year of high school. Though it was still new. You know, the whole relationship status and this and that. And even back then, people would say, I'll Facebook you. I don't know if they still say that today, but and that was still a very relevant thing. So when this movie came out in 2010, it was so on the money. And I remember when we heard about this movie, they're going to make a Facebook movie? What? And Aaron Sorkin's perfect written dialogue, sharp written dialogue in this movie. Like I think it's a brilliant movie. I love this movie. I watch it every year. So those are my ranking of David Fincher movies. I can't wait to see his new film, The Killer, coming out this Friday. I'll have a review on that after I watch it. So what is your favorite David Fincher movie? Is it any of the one? Is it Social Network? Is it Seven? Is it Benjamin Button? Is it Gone Girl? Zodiac? Panic Room? The Game? Alien 3? Or another movie that I will not say? Let me know in the comments below. Matt the Mad here. What's the first rule of Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club.